and to our Tuesday morning yoga taster session. How are you all doing? Week 10 of lockdown, where's that time gone? Right, so today then in our yoga practice we'll be playing with a pose called Funky Chair. So it's kind of working on opening the hips, lengthening the hamstrings, a bit of balance involved there. And also if you want to take it to another level, Kerry Cook, quite strong on the wrists and the shoulders. So we'll see how we get on with it. Okay, as always, just practice with care and be kind to yourself. So not all poses suit everybody. So if I'm doing something that doesn't suit you today, just don't do it. It's fine. It's your body, your practice. Make this session work for you. Okay, shall we start? Enjoy, everyone. Okay, we're going to come down and start in a semi-supine position. Constructive rest pose. I had a few requests for yin yoga today. It's not yin yoga, but this is a yin yoga pose. So we're taking the feet mat distance and just resting the knees together. Allow the spine to lengthen along the mat. Push the back of the head into the mat. Lift and separate the shoulder blades before relaxing them back down. And then take your hands to rest where they feel comfortable. So either away from your sides or on your tummy. Close your eyes and we'll spend a few moments here settling into our yoga practice this morning. Noticing how you're feeling in your body. Notice what's going on with your breath. How you're feeling in your mind. Taking nasal breathing if you can. We're breathing in and out through the nose. Full, deep, mindful breaths. Okay, so keeping your focus with your breath. We made that first connection of breath and movement. Apanasana, energy pose. We're going to let the knees come in to the chest. Just place your hands lightly on top of your knees. On your next in-breath, pushing the knees away so the arms straighten. And on your next out-breath, hug the knees in towards your chest. So quite a subtle movement. Let's take that a couple more times. Breath in to push the knees away. Breath out to hug in. Do that 2 more times. And last time then, breath in and out. Let's take hold of the back of your legs now. I'm going to float the feet up towards the ceiling, waterfall pose. Give the hamstrings a bit of a rub if they're a bit tight this morning. Maybe even move the feet if you're a bit tight in the ankles. Start to take it a little bit stronger, so pushing the sacrum down into the mat and pulling the toes back towards the shins, maybe starting to push the backs of the knees to the wall in front of you, getting a stronger stretch down the back of your legs. Okay, we're going to point the toes now and come into the wide-legged version of this pose. So taking the feet wide, you can support the outer thighs to protect the hips if you prefer. One more breath here. And then we're going to bring it into happy baby pose. So take hold of the back of the knees, drawing the knees wide, drawing the knees low. Let's flex the feet again. Push that sacrum back down into the mat. Lengthen the spine along the mat, the chins in towards the chest. If you want to, you can take hold of the bottom of your feet or even your big toes.
Pausing here for 3 breaths. Let's take one more breath here. And release your happy baby and take a lovely full body stretch. Okay. Come back to your semi-supine position. Position the feet and the knees hip distance. Coming into a variation of eye of the needle pose. I'm going to take right foot and pop it on top of your left thigh. And just see if you can encourage that right knee out to the side a little bit more. A couple of breaths here. And now I'm going to come up onto our elbows. See how that feels. It just makes the pose a little bit more intense. This isn't for you, go back down. If you feel you can get a little bit more out of the pose, come up onto your hands. See how that feels. Okay, keeping the legs as they are, let's come back down to the mat. Take hold of the back of the left thigh and hug it in towards your chest. Okay, we're going to do that left side, so reset your semi-supine position. Left foot, right thigh, let's take that left knee a little bit further out to the side. A couple of breaths here. Let's take it a little bit higher. You might be very different from one side of the body to the next. And maybe take it even higher, coming up onto your hands. Okay, let's lower back down. A little hug of this right thigh towards the chest. And release. We're going to take some big knee circles. So pop the hands back on top of the knees. Lovely big knee circles. We take the knees in opposite directions. You work into these hip joints. And let's take them the other way. Nice, okay. And we're coming up to a seated position. Easy cross leg to begin with. I think I'll face this way. A little twist and a side stretch. So if you take your left hand to your right knee, just slide the right hand behind your spine and glance over your right shoulder. Nice. Okay, release the twist. Let's take it to a side stretch. So left hand goes out to the side. Let's reach up to the ceiling nice and high with the right hand. And then on an out breath, reach across. Pull back with your right shoulder as you turn your gaze towards the ceiling. You're pushing your right sitting bone into the mat here. Okay, and release. Let's take the twist to the left. So right hand, left knee, slide the left hand behind your back. And just gently glancing over your left shoulder. And release a twist. Let's take a side stretch then. So a breath in to take left hand up towards the ceiling. And a breath out to reach across. Turning the heart, the gaze upwards. And release. Seated staff pose. You're going to take the legs out in front. So legs are straight unless you're particularly tight in the hamstrings, lower back this morning. You might want some padding under your knees. Pull the toes back towards the shins. Push the backs of the knees down into your blanket, into the mat. Draw up on the pelvic floor and pull your belly button in towards the spine. Working this pose with breath, so we're going to take a breath in, reach the arms up, feel that spine lengthening. And as you breathe out, release the arms, relax the shoulders. I'm going to take that 2 more times, breathing in, reaching up. And breathing out, release. And one more time. And release. Okay, keep the upper body nice and upright. We're coming into knee to nose pose, Janu Shavasana. Bending right leg, sole of your right foot on the inside of your left thigh. Again, you can use padding here if there's any knee issues. You can hold this pose here if this is enough for you. If you want more, we're going to take it into a forward fold. So if you're joining me in the forward fold, it's a breath in to take the arms up and a breath out to hinge forward at the hips. Grab hold of your foot, your ankle, your wrist. You're sort of pushing back with this left sitting bone as you're reaching forward with the crown of the head. 3 nice, big, deep breaths here. Okay, let's release. Take the hands to the hips. Use your next in-breath to come to an upright position. We're going to do that on the other side. So right leg straight, sole of left foot on the inside of your right thigh. Nice and upright, keep it here if this is for you this morning, or if you're joining me in the forward fold, it's an in-breath to reach up and an out-breath to fold forward, taking hold of lower leg, ankle, foot or wrist. Pausing for 3. For 2. My dog's counting. For 1. Take your hands to your hips. Use your in-breath to come up. Open heart pose. Not a very nice name for a pose, I don't think, but it does feel nice. So soles of the feet together. Knees out to the side. We're going to take the hands behind. Push it into the hands as you lift your chest, lift your gaze. You can keep it here, or it might feel quite nice just to hover the hips off the mat. Okay, and releasing. We're going to come now to an all-fours position. A couple of things to strengthen and mobilise the wrists and stretch the shoulders out. So, just an easy all-fours position. I'm just going to simply transfer the weight from one hand to the next as you externally rotate the hands. So you're walking them round outwards. Take them around as far as you can and then pausing there. Maybe even sort of rocking backwards and forwards. See how that feels, how your wrist's feeling this morning. Now let's walk the hands round the other way. So again, just transferring the weight from one to another, nice and slowly. And then walking the hands inwards. And I've got in as far as I'm going to go. Just pause here. Maybe rock backwards and forwards. Okay, and then bring them back to that starting point, fingers facing towards the top of the mat. Be careful of this one. I'm just going to get one hand and rest on the top of your hand and just apply a little bit of pressure. See how that feels. Try and keep the arms straight. Okay, and release. Let's do that on the other hand. If anyone's feeling strong in the wrist, you might want to try that with both hands together, but be really careful. Nice, okay. And release. Maybe a few wrist circles to release. Heart-centered pose. I'm going to stretch out the shoulders now. So just take your hips back from your knees. Stretch the hands away from you. Keep them mat distance. Releasing your forehead to the mat. Or if you want more, your chest and chin.
Enjoy the stretch. Pausing here for 3 breaths. For 2. For 1. Okay, push into the hands, come back to your all fours position. We're going to come down onto our forearms now, another nice one to warm up the shoulders. So just take your elbows underneath your shoulders and make a big fist with both of your hands. You're interlacing the fingers. It's a baby dolphin pose with breath. We did this on our very first Tuesday morning Facebook Live session when we were building up to dolphin pose. Okay, so next time you breathe in, rock forward as far forwards as you feel comfortable with. And then as you breathe out, take your bottom back towards your heels. We're going to do that a few times, so just basically rocking backwards and forwards with your breath. So breath in to come forwards. You may want to start thinking about applying your internal locks. So drawing up on the pelvic floor and pulling your belly button towards your spine. Let's take that one more time then. A breath in to come forwards and a breath out to come back. And then come back to this start position. We're going to set our tabletop pose, a bit of strengthening work now. So take your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, eternal locks applied. Hand lock applied also, so really spread the fingers and push tips of thumb and fingertips into the mat. Elbows locked. We're going to send the right leg back. Really push the the heel of the foot away and suck your thigh muscle up towards your thigh bone. Tilt your pelvis towards your navel. Your spine is long, so you're stretching from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. We're coming from here into full plank pose, so left leg goes back to join the right. We're going to pause for 4 breaths, for 3, for 2, feeling strong, one more breath. Let's release the knees down to the mat and take a little child's pose to release the shoulders. Are we all feeling okay? Good. Okay, let's come back to our tabletop position. Again, connecting our breath with movement, we're going to flow from here into downward facing dog. So let's turn the toes. Next time you breathe in, take the bottom up, take the bottom back, downward facing dog. And as you breathe out with control, lower back down to that tabletop position. We're going to take that 3 more times. Breathing in. And breathing out. Lovely stretch. Number 3. And release. Pausing in our downward facing dog this time. So an in-breath to come up. And when you get up, just soften the knees, really push into the mat with your hands, chest closer to the thighs. And then sink your heels down towards the mat. Neck is soft, shoulders away from the ears. Two more breaths here, and I'm going to take it into something called plie dog. Okay, so adjust your feet. You want to turn your feet out so that they're tented too. So heels are in, toes are out. And then we're simply just going to bend the legs, bob the bottom down towards the heels. As the heels come off the mat, looking towards thumbs. And then on an in-breath, straightening the legs, coming back to that start position. Should we do that a few more times? So breathing out, sinking down into this long squat. And breathing in to come up. So it might be quite a deep movement for you, or it might be quite a subtle movement. Let's take that one more time. Breathing out, come down into your squat.
And breathing in to come up. Adjust your feet again so toes are facing forwards and your feet are hip distance. Should we walk our dog? Just pedaling the heels up and down, swaying the hips from side to side. And then lower the knees down to the mat. Take a child's pose just to rest your shoulders. So bottom back towards the heels. You can either stack the fists here and rest your head on your hands, or you can have your arms along your sides.
Are we all feeling okay?
Right, okay. Another thing to do in downward facing dog. So if you come back to your tabletop position, set the pose, let's turn the toes, come up, downward facing dog. Three-legged dog, I always get a three-legged dog in the practice. Okay, right leg first. So next in breath, you're going to sweep right leg high. Come onto the ball of the left foot so you can really reach up with that right leg. Push into the mat, chest goes closer to your left thigh. And then sink that left heel down whilst keeping right leg up. So stretch out first. We're going to take a bend now in this right leg. So just take the foot towards the bottom. Knee circles, just circling that knee outwards, lovely and big and smooth and controlled. I'm going to do it 4 times in total. Okay, and release that right leg. A few little walkouts in the middle. And then we're going to take that opposite side. So next time you breathe in, left leg comes up. Really come up onto the ball of the right foot. Push into the mat with your hands. Your chest goes close to that right thigh. And sink the heel down, keeping the left leg where it is. Let's take a bend in the left leg. So drop the foot to the bottom and then take these nice big knee circles. 2, 3, 4, lovely. Okay, and release. Let's walk it out. We're going to walk the feet all the way towards the hands now to take a dangling pose. So take hold of your elbows, upper body nice and relaxed, weight of the head carrying you forwards. Nice smooth breath here. You can sway from side to side if that feels good. More dynamic now. So start to straighten your legs. So push the backs of the knees away. See if you can pull your forearms, your elbows, even closer down towards the mat. So really feel that lovely lengthening in the back of the body. Okay, let's take the hands to the hips. Next in breath, slowly coming up. Ooh, and walk it out. So pedaling the heels up and down. Okay, mountain pose. So feet are hip distance. Really spread your toes and push your feet into the mat. So you're applying your foot lock. Engage the muscles of your legs, engage the core. We're going to take half chair pose. So you're reaching the hands forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Let's squat down. So you're taking your bottom back and down. It's a sense of pushing back with your bottom as you're reaching forwards with the hands. Nice and long in the upper body. Gaze is between the hands. 2 more breaths. And take it into full chair pose this time. So keep the legs as they are, but take the arms back. So you're taking the arms alongside the ears. Start to take the gaze upwards, feel the lift in the chest. 3 more breaths. 2, 1. Let's breathe in to come up, reaching all the way up to the ceiling. Breathe out to release the hands. We're going to go again with the same sequence. This time we're adding a forward fold. So reaching the hands forwards. Let's squat down into a half chair pose. Reach back with the bottom as you reach forward with the hands, and then release your chest onto your thighs. Let's take hold of outside edge of ankles. You're maintaining this contact with chest and thighs for as long as you can as you straighten your legs. Sitting bones go high, crown of the head sinks low. Keep the shoulders away from your ears. Are your legs nice and straight? 3 nice big deep breaths here. 2, 1. We're exiting chair pose, so sink the bottom back down low. Reach the hands forwards, half chair. Let's take the thumbs back, full chair pose. For 3, for 2, for 1. Breathe in, upward facing mountain, reach up. Breathe out, release the arms. Are we feeling good? We're coming into a balance. Tree pose, so we did this, I think 3rd or 4th week, we did a bit of work on tree pose. So, if you take your weight, I'll do it facing you, into your left foot, and you're going to come onto the toes of the right, and just take that right knee out to the side. So if you find a spot on the floor or the wall in front of you to help you focus, let's lift the foot. So either inside of your calf or inside of your thigh. Take the hands together, heart centre. And start to take the hands up towards the ceiling. Grounding down into your left foot. As you reach up to the ceiling with both hands. Feeling focused, feeling balanced. Nice. And release the hands, release the foot. We're going to take that opposite side. So really ground into your right foot, come onto the toes of the left, take the knee out to the side. Position the foot on your calf or on your thigh. Hands heart centre. And stretch the hands up. Very nice, big, smooth, deep, focused breaths. And release the hands. Release the foot. How's your balance today, everyone? Okay, back to your mountain pose. Back to having feet hip distance. We're going to come into a high crescent lunge and then add a revolve side angle pose variation. Left leg comes back. Really nice big stretch back. Deep bend in your right leg. Sink the hips low. Let's reach the hands out forward like we did when we were coming into half chair. Engage the core. Let's take the thumbs back now, so you're reaching up towards the ceiling. Take your gaze upwards as well. As you reach up fingertips, can you sink a little bit lower with your hips? Legs nice and straight. Are you pushing your heel down towards the mat? Let's take it into our revolve side angle. So palms come together, bring them in front of your chest, and then fold forward. You have the option to keep it here, or option to twist to the right, where you hook your left elbow over your right knee. Keep the upper body nice and long. You're gazing towards your right shoulder and your right elbow. For 3, for 2, for 1. If you took the twist with control, release. As you come back up with your upper body, let's straighten that front leg. That should feel quite nice. And then one big step back to the top of the mat. Release the hands, let's go opposite side. Right leg comes back. Sink the hips, straighten that back leg as you bend the front. Reach forward with the hands. And reach up. Make sure your shoulders aren't coming up by your ears. So draw those shoulder blades down your back. Take your gaze upwards. Feeling strong.
Let's bring the palms together, draw them down in front of heart centre. Breath in to prepare, breath out to fold forwards. Breath in here, if you're taking the twist, it's right elbow to left knee, looking over your left shoulder. For 3, for 2, for 1. And release the twist with control. Come up and straighten that left leg. And step forward. Hey. And walk out. Okay. Our first version of funky chair, some of you would have done this with me in class. So, mountain pose, feet hip distance. Maybe reach the hands forward, like when we were coming into chair pose earlier on. And you're going to squat down. So this is your half chair. We've already all done this. You've got the option to keep it here if you like. Or you're going to pick up your right foot and pop it on top of your left thigh, and then reach the hands out forwards again. See how that feels. Might be that you want to bring your palms together, hands to chest, and then your right elbows on your knee and your left elbows on your ankle. See if you can sink a little bit lower. Quite strong on the legs, so this is your funky chair pose. One more breath here. And let's release, come back up, and come back down. Not that bad, is it? Okay, walk it out. Let's try that opposite side then. So half chair first. So nice and grounded in the feet. Internal locks applied. Let's reach forward with the hands and squat down. Left foot to your right thigh. And bring your palms together, heart centre. And rest your elbows along your shin bone. Maybe sink a little bit lower. And release. We're going to go again. See how we go with it second time. Option to come a little bit further this time if you want to, if your body will allow. So, let's reset the pose again. So, half chair into your funky chair. And then, if you want to now, it's just an option. You can start to sink a little bit lower and maybe even release your hands to the mat so you can sink all the way down into a squat. If you're super balanced, and I've practiced this several times since Kerry requested it, I just can't do it, you can lift your hands off the floor. Oh, I've got it there for a second. So give that a go. Or if you want to come into a balance, lift your bottom and pop your knees on your elbows and take your weight forward. So your gaze is towards the top of the mat, and you might for a second get your foot off the floor. You might not, it's a work in progress for me. And when you're ready, come back up. Oh, Kerry, that's tough. This is the trouble when you ask for a request, you get something you can't do or you don't like. Okay. Let's go again, opposite side. Half chair. Into your funky chair. Keep it here, or maybe start to lower. Maybe see if you can get a little second of a balance. Ooh, a bit better that side. And maybe even see if you want to take your knees to your elbows and take the weight forward into a little arm balance. And when you're ready, release and come back up. Definitely a work in progress for me, that one. How are we? How did you all get on with that? If anyone managed to get into the full pose, I'd love to see it, please. Send me your pics. Okay, so we're going to come down now. Feet hip distance.
we'll come down into a squat. So let's take the hands forwards. Let's float up onto the balls of our feet. And then start to sink down. Take the thumbs back, reaching up towards the ceiling. Okay, and then release the hands forward. Start to lower the heels as you sink your bottom. We're coming down to a semi-supine position, so nice, smooth, controlled lowering down. Finishing our class as we started in constructive rest pose. Knees together, feet hip distance. And take your hands wherever they feel comfortable on your tummy, by your sides. And just close your eyes. A little scan through the body, noticing how you're feeling now. And take your focus to your breath. Following your breath as you breathe in and out through the nose. And then taking a lovely full body stretch. Hug your knees in towards your chest and then rocking up to seated.
Thank you very much. Well done, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Remember, you can message me with your requests. No more arm balances, please. So there's going to be no Zoom yoga on Thursday. Instead, I'm doing Facebook Live again. It kind of works better for me. You get a little bit longer on Facebook Live. But for those of you that can't make Facebook Live, I record all of the sessions and I put them onto YouTube, so you can catch them at any time. And I'm doing a yin session this Saturday. It's 11:30. That's through Hot Pod Rotherham. So if anyone's interested in that, message me or go on the Hot Pod website. Fabulous. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye. See you all again soon. See you Thursday. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.